Hey everyone, it's Michael, and today I'm going to be talking about Goosebumps Night of the Living Dummy for the first book that I want to review on this channel now that I'm trying to go back to reviewing just Goosebumps books, or maybe just, young adult books, teenage books, whatever. Not really a young adult book guy, but I like, Goosebumps and I like stuff like this. But yeah, might just be talking about Goosebumps on the channel. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know how frequently I'll be able to pump out reviews either, but still. Goosebumps Night of the Living Dummy. I have always enjoyed this book. I have read this more than any other Slappy book in the entire franchise of Slappy. We all know how Slappy has basically become the mascot for Goosebumps nowadays. He used to kind of have a balance with Cuddles and like Curly and all those people, but now he has mainly, by 2019, become the face of Goosebumps. And I don't have a problem with that because I'm a huge Slappy fan. Slappy is my favorite monster. I love this creature. I love this idea of this ventriloquist dummy coming to life. However, this book is kind of hard to avoid spoilers when you're talking about it with people, mainly because it's become the Child's Play franchise all over again. If you've seen the old original Child's Play film, which is what's part of the Chucky franchise, if you've happened to see those about a killer doll, then you know that the rest of the franchise kind of ruins what happened at the first book. And that's just kind of what it is, you just kind of have to accept it. It is hard to talk about this. Forgive me if I accidentally slip up and mention something that's a spoiler to anybody. I'm trying my best not to do that. But anyway, this story is really cool. These copies that I have of the first, second, and third Night of the Living Dummy stories from the original 62 classic Goosebumps stories that came out back in the 90s, all of those are my original copies from when I was 9 or 10, it might have been 11, somewhere in there, 9 to 11, somewhere in that age, because I had a birthday party at a skating rink. And my family, my grandparents mostly got me these Goosebumps books, tons of them, all kinds of different ones. I think Monster Blood might have even been one of them that I picked up at that time. But I was more introduced to Goosebumps from the TV show, and I've always loved it ever since. That's why my channel's named after it and everything. I'm a huge obsessor of Goosebumps. I just love Goosebumps stuff. And it's kid-friendly, it's family-friendly. You can talk about the show or the movies or the books with anybody that has experienced them. They know how fun this can be. Not many people do I know that don't like Goosebumps in some facet, But anyway, with this first book, it is hard to talk about. It is much darker than other Goosebumps books and much more of the Slappy books, I would say. It's a darker storyline, and it's kind of creepy at times. It's one of the creepier Goosebumps books, I would say, even compared to the rest of the series, even from the original classic books of Night of the Living Dummy 1, 2, and 3. I think this is probably the scariest out of what I've read or reread for so far. I'm trying to read all the books that have Slappy involved before I really move on to anything else. But I am reading other books outside and stuff like that. If you want reviews of other books, like for example, I'm reading a book right now by Mary Downing Hahn called The Doll in the Garden. If you want a review on this, let me know, but I kind of just want to stick with Goosebumps books for right now. It's up to you guys, as the audience, if you're watching it. But anyway, getting back to the story. The general plot for this is that you have two twins, and the one rescues a person from a dumpster outside of a business, building, whatever. And it turns out not to be a person, it turns out to be a ventriloquist dummy that is... well, she nicknames him Slappy, of course, like this fella right here in the picture. So, this person, this particular twin, out of the two, and I can't remember the names, not to insult Goosebumps, but the characters typically are recycled over and over and over again, and that's just a natural thing with Goosebumps. I'm sorry, it's just the case. But with this particular character, she becomes very good at ventriloquism. She starts getting performance, listings. She starts getting people calling her to go perform at birthday parties and all kinds of stuff like that. But the other twin, who's pretty much our main character, starts to get kind of jealous about this whole thing. She ends up wanting a dummy as well and ends up getting one that she nicknames Mr. Wood. Now, when Mr. Wood comes in the picture, even before Mr. Wood came in the picture, weird things started happening around the house. You would think it would be the sister playing pranks on our main protagonist, who is a twin of that sister. You would think it would be just pranks done, right? That's not what's happening. Nobody knows exactly what's going on. Just weird things are happening around the house. And the parents, we don't know if it's them. We don't know if the parents think that it's the kids or the main protagonist or anybody like that. We don't know if these dummies have something to do with it once Mr. Wood and Slappy are in the picture. We don't know. It's just kind of weird how severe the pranks get throughout the books progress. And it's enjoyable. I like this book. I think it's kind of fun. It makes me think back to nostalgic memories of mine when I read this when I was younger, and I kept thinking about things coming out of my closet, you know what I mean? Stuff walking up and down my hallway. The book can be scary like that. So can Night of the Living Dummy 2. I don't think I've read 3 since I was very young. I'm going to reread that sometime soon. I'll get to you on that at some point. But This first book, I think, is probably the scariest of Night of the Living Dummy as a franchise. It's eerie. It has a really great finale that I really love. It's enjoyable. It's a sweet story. And of course, none of these books are ever connected. You know, when you pick up Night of the Living Dummy 2, it doesn't pick up on the ending cliffhanger that this book has as the first book. It doesn't do that. It's not like your Star Wars films or anything like that. It doesn't do things that way in the Goosebumps world. We kind of just restart with a brand new story, brand new characters and all that almost every time that we read a story. Very rarely do you get characters like in Haunted Mask 1 and 2, where you have characters come over from the first book. It's just kind of how it is with Goosebumps. But I don't mind that. It's kind of like comics for me. You know, I like comic books a whole lot, and it kind of does the same thing. But, yeah, anyway, for Night of the Living Dummy, it's a fun book. I like it. I think I'd recommend it to you if you haven't read it before. I don't love this like I did when I was younger. I think it's kind of aged a little bit worse because of how Slappy is absolutely everywhere now in Goosebumps media, whether it be video games, movies, any of that. But this particular book is a good book. I still love that cover to this day. I don't like the new re-release for the covers. I just don't think it's as good as this old original artwork. This is so scary. Can you imagine seeing this when you were a child? Because I remember it. It scared me, and I loved it, and I was so infatuated with it. This is a good, clean kids book. No cursing, nothing like that. A family can sit down and enjoy this together and really have a good time, whether it be with the books, the TV shows, or the movies. Fun stuff. Really enjoy R.L. Stine. I'm really glad that he's still putting out stuff right now. Right now, you actually have this thing called the Slappy World series. I think there's 7 or 8 of those books out right now. I think 7, maybe 6, but it could be something around those lines. So far, we have that many released. And I haven't read any of those yet. I plan on getting to them as soon as possible as I burn through these books. So be patient with me. I'm trying to work my hardest to get through all these. I'm getting back into reading a whole lot more. I needed to take a little bit of a break. That's why I deleted all my videos and stuff and kind of started over again with the Goosebumps reviews. But I think Goosebumps is really where my passion kind of is, and I want to stick with that. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, when it comes to Night of the Living Dummy from the original Goosebumps run, if I had to rate this on a 5-star basis, I think easily I'd give this a 4 out of 5. This is a really powerful, fun read. I enjoyed this immensely. I thought it was very good. If you haven't read it, check it out, guys. Same thing with the rest of the Slappy books, or Goosebumps in general if you haven't read these. They have so many wild stories, dude. You could have anything from an amphibious monster coming out of the waters of some kind of swamp, or you could have a ventriloquist dummy running around the house and trying to cause havoc and whatnot, which may or may not be the case with this. Again, I'm trying to avoid spoilers altogether, so read it for yourself, folks. Anyway, thank you for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today, and goodbye.